I'm reminded of a time when I was strolling through the village with Pete O'Toole and Gene Hackman. Pete had been drinking very heavily since noon the previous Tuesday, and he turns to myself and Dusty and said, oh, did I mention that Dustin Hoffman was there? Because he was. Anyhow, he turns to us and says in that delightful accent of his, let's all go to the haberdashery and buy fancy hats. Students of the Actors Studio, I give you Miss Andie MacDowell. Welcome, Andie MacDowell.
Welcome, James. It is very nice to be here. I didn't know there would be so many people.
Andie, tell us what you did before you became an actress.
Before you became
an actress, Andie, you worked in a
Dairy Queen.
In a Dairy Queen restaurant. Andie, where was the Dairy Queen? Andie, where? Andie, tell us where the Dairy Queen was.
Asheville,
it was in Asheville, North Carolina. Andie, Asheville, North Carolina. Andie, Andie, where your favorite dessert treat was. Andie, what was it?
M&M Blizzard.
No, it was the Snickers Blizzard. Snickers Blizzard. I hope our young actors are taking notes.
I should say that
you triumphed over a horrible eating disorder in the mid-1980s, and that you'd like to see a clip from your film Green Card. Andie, request granted.
Do you know what your living in this house has done to me? Do you? Do you? Didn't you know?
Andie, you said in that film, I didn't know. I could feel so much. Neither could we, Andie. Neither could we. I should also remark that for that film, you didn't win.
Didn't.
And you did not. Didn't. Did.
Didn't.
That you didn't win an Academy Award. But I should let Andie speak for herself. Through her work in the film Sex, Lies, and Videotape Roll Clip.
You don't love me. I didn't know who you were.
This clip reminds me of a nature walk I took with one Sidney
Furthermore,
Poitier.
I didn't get a
We were
chance
strolling
to
about
know
admiring
you.
the marigolds when suddenly I was bit by one of nature's more peevish creatures,
You didn't
the
want
spider.
to communicate without the
I awoke
damn
later in a
camera.
state of dazed euphoria with
I didn't
Sidney
get a
sucking the
chance to
venom from
know
my inner
who you
thigh.
were.
It was the wrong thigh,
You didn't
and I awoke
know
later still
who
at Mercy
I was.
Hospital next to a lovely fruit arrangement
You didn't put
from
down
Liza
the
Minnelli,
damn camera.
who at this point
I didn't know when I came on the show I would be treated so badly. I didn't know that you would be such a rude man to me.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've just given you Andie MacDowell. Andie MacDowell shrieking and running away reminds me of a weekend that I spent in Napa Valley with Bill Bixby, tasting wine. Bill had a very serious case of the trots and had retired to his room at the Shady Lanes bed and breakfast to take what he described as